Oh, my dear ones, what a week it's been. Anyone feeling it? Feeling it? I need to tell you that this week I've been altering between being pissed off and feeling worn down. Anyone else? Anyone pissed off? Anyone feeling worn down? I am pissed off and worn down that our representatives have said that it is okay for one person to put our democratic ideals at risk, involving a foreign government to investigate a political opponent for one person's gain, and that we can just concede our ideals for greed and power. I am pissed off and worn down that Iowa had one job. They had one job to kick off our electoral process in an organized fashion, and they couldn't do it. I am pissed off and I am worn down that I hear words of unveiled racism, privilege, and greed from our elected officials, and that people who spout that kind of racism can get a Presidential Medal of Honor. I am sad and worn down by the number of people in this community who have had some really long weeks. I am pissed off and worn down because this week should have been Trayvon Martin's 25th birthday. Trayvon, who was killed 8 years ago, just 12 miles north of where I lived in Florida. And his story continues to be the story of so many others who are killed because of the skin color that they were born with. And I don't know if it's reasonable or not, but I am pissed off and worn down over the hoopla over the Super Bowl halftime show. Anyone else? Like, I know that it's like this contrived thing that our society does, and I didn't even know who was playing in the Super Bowl until that morning, and I shouldn't care. But what was part celebration by two strong Latina women, part protest about the abuses of their siblings in cages and their Puerto Rican families, and part, the rest of it, just some seriously amazing dancing and singing, has turned into shaming women about their bodies and what they wear. And in my opinion, it's also not understanding the culture and judging them based on outdated and harmful ideals that perpetuate the shaming of women and trying to put them in boxes in which we will no longer be put. And I say that I am pissed off and worn down. And then during the first service, Melinda Iyer sends me a text. And I'm going to read the words of Stacey Abrams, because she says, we're not worn down. We are still here. And we can't let them wear us down. So Stacey says, it is not enough to be just angry about what they do wrong. It's about trying to make it right. Part of what the other side depends on is that we get so overwhelmed and so tired that we just stop. I took a nap. I'm good. So while I may be mad, I am not worn down. And I am actually so uplifted and encouraged this week as well. I'm uplifted and encouraged by these amazing new members, and I can't wait for you to get to know them because they're amazing. and they're going to bring so much to our community. I am uplifted and encouraged by a congregation that is showing renewed energy and growth. 36 new members in just 4 months. Financial stability and excitement. These are all things that we talked about in the congregational meeting, and there's a lot of really great things happening here. I am uplifted and encouraged by the way that I see this community taking care of each other in absolutely remarkable ways. Remarkable, caring, and invested ways. I am uplifted and encouraged by the way that we've said goodbye to Laura, showing us and her that we can reintegrate her into our community and giving her the appreciation that she so deserves. I am uplifted and encouraged by the acts of resistance, persistence, and downright rebellion, tearing up a State of the Union address, right? And the way that I'm seeing that all around us on TV, on my social media, which is a mixed blessing, but in my conversations with you all. I am uplifted and encouraged by the organizing that I see in the Phoenix community. The organizations that work tirelessly on behalf of their communities, the long meetings, the talking to neighbors. And I've been asked 3 times today what we are going to do in protest of Trump coming to visit Phoenix on the 19th. And I don't know what it is yet, but we will be doing something. I hope you will join me. So how is it that I can be pissed off and uplifted and encouraged at the same time? Well, because I'm human and I'm resilient, and so are you. You all need to know how much I love Dr. Maya Angelou. Anyone else? She has this very special place in my heart. I love her. My wife Karen and I got to hear her speak just a few months before she died. It's actually a funny story because we had just started dating, and there was this all lesbian cruise, and they had a theme of leadership and action. Like, all of the states had not passed marriage equality yet. We didn't think that we would actually see it in our lifetime. So there was a lot of people just saying, now what do we do and how do we bring this about? And there were some really great speakers. But Karen and I had just been dating for a few months. We weren't quite sure if we were ready to commit to a cruise in 6 months together. Like, would we make it? Are we going to spend this money? Is that going to be really awkward if this doesn't work out, this new relationship? So we weren't even sure that we were ready to be Facebook official yet, like much less go on a cruise. So we kept watching the reports, and there's like the news coming in about the cruise. And then they announced that the Indigo Girls would be performing on ship. Oh, that got us really close. We still weren't quite sure. And the next day, they said, Maya Angelou is going to be the keynote speaker. Done. I don't care if this relationship doesn't work. I'm going to see Maya Angelou and the Indigo Girls. We signed up for that vacation so fast. And we're still together. Oh, well, thank you. And our marriage is legal. So Maya Angelou spoke to us, a boat full of lesbians. She told us to be rainbows in someone's cloud. She told us how much she loved us. She told us how proud she was of us. And I sat there and cried through the whole thing. The whole thing, from the moment she started talking until, who am I kidding? I cried while I was writing this sermon, and I'm crying now. The sound of her voice talking to us and giving us hope and resilience was so powerful. I love Maya Angelou because of her poetry, but also because of her story. When she was 8 years old, she stopped speaking. She silenced her voice because she thought her voice had killed a man. For almost 5 years, she spoke to no one besides her beloved brother Bailey. The man that she believed she had killed with her voice was her mother's boyfriend, who had done terrible things to her. She testified against him in his trial. He was convicted and sentenced, but released from jail. 4 days later, he was found dead, murdered, probably from Angelou's uncles, her memoir implies. But she thought it was her voice, 8-year-old voice speaking out, that had the power to kill. So it is an amazing story of resilience that she used her voice, the one that she thought had so much power for harm. She used that voice for good, for so much good and strength and love. She rose up to find her voice and to bring rainbows to the clouds for so many. And believe me, if Maya can be resilient enough to live through that, to understand why the caged bird sings and yet sings anyways, then by God, or whatever you believe, so can I. Maya said, I can be changed by what happens to me, but I refuse to be reduced by it. And I refuse to be reduced by the challenges in life, by the challenges that are happening in our world. I can feel worn down, but only for a moment, because I promise I will be looking for that rainbow and use it to make myself stronger. Eric Greitens is an author who wrote a whole book on resilience, and he talks about the myth that resilience is, quote, bouncing back. You all heard? You're gonna bounce back from something. Greitens says, life's reality is that we cannot bounce back. We cannot bounce back because we cannot go back in time to the people we used to be. The parent who loses a child never bounces back. The 19-year-old who sails off to war is gone forever, even if he returns. You know that there is no bouncing back. There is just moving through. What happens to us becomes a part of us. Resilient people do not bounce back from their hard experiences. They find healthy ways to integrate them into their lives. Maya Angelou did not bounce back from what happened to her. She incorporated it into her and made her voice stronger than ever. This congregation is not bouncing back from the challenges it's had. It has lived into those challenges and is becoming stronger, more kind, and understanding to each other. It is more resilient, not in spite of the challenges, but because of them. And the same will be true of our country and our world. We will never be the same. The racism and the words of hate that have invaded our country will not just disappear. They are there and have exposed the hatred that has always been there. We will never just bounce back from the environmental damage that we're inflicting on our earth, or from the blows to our democracy, or from the divisiveness that we are seeing in our families and our communities. But we will be transformed by it. I am not worn down. I took a nap. I'm good. We will incorporate that learning and we will rise taller because of it. I actually want to end with Mother Maya's words, partly because I want to reclaim the Super Bowl halftime show for strong, embodied women, partly because her voice came from resiliency, but mostly because this poem is the best example of resilience that I can think of. Still I Rise by Maya Angelou. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still, like dust, I'll rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? 'Cause I walk like I got oil wells pumping in my living room. Just like moons and like suns, with the certainty of tides, just like hopes springing high, still I'll rise. Did you want to see me broken, bowed down and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries? Does my haughtiness offend you? Don't you take it awful hard, 'cause I laugh like I got gold mines digging in my own backyard. You may shoot me with your words, you may cut me with your eyes, you may kill me with your hatefulness, but still, like air, I'll rise. Does my sexiness upset you? Does it come as a surprise that I dance like I got diamonds at the meeting of my thighs? Out of the huts of history's shame, I rise. Up from a past that's rooted in pain, I rise. I'm a black ocean, leaping and wide, welling and swelling, I bear in the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise. Into a daybreak that's wondrously clear, I rise. Bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave, I am the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise. I rise. I rise.